Democratic leadership is now scrambling to support President Biden as his poll numbers plummet even further.
The country's in a bad place. It was a real tough time to become president of the United States.
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor, joins us now. And Joe, I think it's always a tough time to be president. The question is, how do you handle it? And only 38% of Americans think the president is doing a good job.
Yeah, Carly, these numbers are horrific for Mr. Biden because no president has suffered a larger approval rating drop at the start of his term since World War II than this president.
Wow.
And the reasons are tenfold. All right, let me see if I can reel them off. High inflation, out of control spending, supply chain crisis, worker shortage, exploding gas prices, violent crime unabated in American cities, a U.S. border crisis, the prospect of paying those who entered this country illegally hundreds of thousands of dollars, hundreds of Americans still left behind in Afghanistan, Democrats seen as anti-parent on the education front. There's an overall perception is that Joe Biden and his administration don't have the competency or the focus to run the government effectively. And when looking at polls, guys, always look at where independents are at because they're the ones who ultimately decide elections. In this case, independents by a 7-1 margin say this president has done, quote, worse, not better than they expected. Nearly 2/3 of Americans say they don't want Biden to even run for a second term in 2024. He'll be in his 80s at that point. As for the vice president, Kamala Harris, she doesn't even have the support of 3 in 10 Americans. She's only at 28%. Congress is only at 12% approval. In a hypothetical matchup, I'll leave it here because, boy, there's a lot to go through in this poll. Donald Trump would beat Joe Biden by 4 points, 44 to 40%. But remember, that's a national poll. That's a popular vote thing. In the states that matter, Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Arizona, Nevada, Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Biden is underwater by double digits. Again, horrific for the president.
Yeah. Okay, so when you're talking about those poll numbers, would you say 11 or 12% for Congress and then mid-30s for Biden and then 28 for Kamala Harris? You know, they're praising that $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, that bill that they passed. Is that anything to really be praising about? Do you think they think that's going to help their approval ratings?
I think people want, in general, yeah, we want our roads and our bridges and rail and power grids fixed, Ashley. I think then the problem is, okay, how are we going to pay for this is a problem. And then that's only one part of the bill. That's the BIF, the bipartisan infrastructure bill. People can get behind that to a certain extent. It's when we get to the second bill, the human infrastructure part, where I think they're going to be running into some problems because, again, they haven't explained how it's going to be paid for. And these are the type of things, by the way, that people won't feel for a long time. In other words, when your road, your bridge, your power grid gets fixed, that takes years. People are now feeling right now the effects of inflation or the supply chain crisis or rising crime in American cities or even in their towns. And that's why this president is in serious trouble. This party is in serious trouble when we get to 2022 in the midterms, where it's looking like a red tsunami right now.
Vice President Kamala Harris is heading to France today for Armistice Day, which commemorates the end of World War I. And while she's there, she's going to partake in a conference on how to make things better in Libya. And that would then be a conference essentially addressing illegal immigration and how to prevent illegal immigration in Europe, Joe. But she's avoiding that topic here at home.
Avoiding the topic of just, I don't know, going to an actual border town, speaking to Border Patrol agents, speaking to those on the ground to fix the problem here, because that's a big problem, obviously, for this administration as well. The flow of illegal migrants coming into this country has gone unabated, and now we're looking at something like 2.4 million people entering this country illegally just in this year alone. That's more than the population of our 4th largest city in Houston. So again, here you have an absentee vice president who's doing everything but the thing she's actually assigned to, which is fix the border. But when you compare ICE to the KKK and when you say that illegal migrant crossing should be made legal when you are a senator, when you're a candidate for president, that's not the person probably who should be in the job at this point. And that's why she's polling at 28%, guys.
I was going to say, it makes you wonder if that's one of the main reasons that she's polling so low right now.
I forgot about the ICE KKK comment as well. Joe, thank you for reminding us. Thank you for joining us this morning. Happy Monday. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.
Great to see you, and it's never a happy Monday. Thank you.